order to change bad habits, one must examine and study the habits of successful role models. Respected viewers, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the 8th episode of Live from Karbala with me, your host Ahmed Ali. We do apologize for the delay in today's show because we didn't want to cut the lecture of our dear friend Sheikh Abbas Panju. We do ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless all the mu'mineen and mu'minat for their hard work towards Hussein alayhi salam and their dedication towards Ahlul Bayt. Peace and blessings be upon them. But for the dear viewers who didn't get the chance to view the previous episodes, you can log into our YouTube channel at Imam Hussein 3 TV or join our live feed on Facebook at Imam Hussein 3 TV. You can leave your comments or question regarding today's topic, which is the perfect role model for us. It has been estimated that 95% of human behaviors are learned through looking up to role models. If this was partially true, then it's a good reason for us to actually take positive role models for us and for our children. Sadly, in the 24-hour and 24/7 media-saturated environment, individuals tend to choose role models from fields of sports and from entertainment, not knowing the difference between a hero and a role model. A hero in the idea that people admire individuals from just because of their sporting prose or their abilities in acting. However, if we looked at others, we'll find that on the opposite side, role models are the ones who possess qualities that enhance and inspire other individuals to become better individuals. For example, if we take certain individuals throughout history, we find that through the revolution, many individuals were inspired to be dedicated to the cause that they want to establish. But even through the role models and through such role models, through the life, we get to understand that these individuals will help us and aid us into overcoming the problems of this life. For example, we are fortunate that the Islamic history is rich and is filled with amazing role models, ranging from men to women to children to various races to various ages, to make us and to inspire us in becoming better mothers, better fathers, better children, better students, better teachers, better friends, and etc. However, the positive displays of good morals and manners, determination, willpower, and high ethical standards help others to emulate a life of positive attributes. And that's key for tonight, is that how can we look up to certain individuals in order that they inspire us in enhancing our personality and advancing our spirituality. According to Islam, the best role model is who? The best role model, according to every single sect, every single Muslim, it is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And who comes after the Prophet? Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And then you have the prophets, and then you have the companions of Prophet Muhammad, close companions, and the loyal companions of Prophet Muhammad. And then you have the companions of the other Imams. I would like to narrate a story before we commence further into the episode. Once a scholar asked his son, he says, Ya bunay, O son, who is your role model? Keeping in mind, we should keep in our mind that this scholar was the most knowledgeable person of his time. When other prominent scholars needed a solution for their problems, the first person they'll come to is this scholar. He was very famous, but his name I can't remember. However, the moral of the story is that this person asks his son, who is your role model, O my son? The son replied, seeing that everybody flocks to his father for solutions, he says, you are my role model. The father smiled. He says, my son, I dedicated every moment of my life to learn and teach the knowledge of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And I think of myself as a person who is playing on the seashore and haven't even reached the water yet. So if you take me as a role model, then you will not reach anywhere in life. He says, oh my father, who should I take as a role model? He says, Imam al-Sadiq and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and the Holy Prophet. So role models play a very crucial role and a very essential role in our lives today. Because if we do look up to a certain individual, if it's a good individual, we always try to mimic them. We always try to do what they do. You know, if someone, for example, take the sports of soccer, there's certain individuals who play very good soccer. You know, they have the skills. And when someone's on the soccer field, in a soccer game, he tries to do the same trick in order to score and to mimic that certain individual. That's for this world. However, if we go to another branch, or on the other hand, we'll find that we, instead of mimicking individuals who mimicked other individuals, and so on and so forth, we should look at the origin of ethics, at the origin of morals, at the origin of forgiveness. And who are they? They are the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. The character of Prophet Muhammad is the standard which we should conduct ourselves with. Because if we looked at, you know, Muslims try to always honor the Prophet by looking at how perfect he is and the perfect creation of Prophet Muhammad. Yet, we have not yet implemented his teachings in our lives today. If we indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran states in chapter 9, verse 128, He tells the Ummah about the characteristics of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah states, certainly a messenger has come to you from amongst yourselves, grievous to him you falling into distress, excessively celestious respecting you to the believers, he is most kind and merciful. If one was to examine this verse, we would find that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was an individual who inspired not just the people who followed him, but the people who saw him as a trustworthy individual. Even before him preaching Islam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was known for his trustworthiness, was known for his ability in respecting others and always influencing others, and was known that he would never lie and never steal. That's why when they always referred to him as Sadiq al-Amin, the one who is trustworthy and the one who never tells falsehood. But if we were to describe this personality, that up to now no one is able to contain it due to various reasons, how does one pay the respect to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Many Muslims find themselves always honoring and remembering the Holy Prophet, and the best is always, remembering him and talking about him. However, if this was true, we'll find that the immense contradictions facing the Muslim Ummah is this. And the idea that if we looked at the Muslims and if we looked at what it's actually going on, if we looked at the behavior of Prophet Muhammad and what's going on in the Muslim world, we find that so much oppression is being done from a Muslim to a Muslim. Muslims are discriminating against themselves. If we honored the Prophet, we would find that during the Prophet's life, he honored disbelievers. He honored the people who disrespected him in various ways. We have stories of Prophet Muhammad. When he walked, there was a Jew who threw bad things at him. Yet, the companions of Prophet Muhammad, they always want to pull their swords and kill that person. Prophet Muhammad said no. Eventually, that Jew, that person, became ill. Prophet Muhammad walked down the same road and nothing was thrown at him. He looked at his companions. He asked them, where is our friend? Look how he addresses the individuals. He says, where is our friend? They said, Ya Rasulullah, you address him like as your friend. What's going on? He said, yes. Where is he? They replied by saying that he is ill. He's at home. So he told his companions, come with me, let's go to check up on him. They look at him, they say, Ya Rasulullah, what's going on? This person throws garbage at you. You want to go visit him? He says, yes. He goes, as soon as the Prophet knocks on the door, the person opens the door, he sees the Prophet, the person just drops down to his knees, begin to kissing the Prophet's hand and embracing Islam. These are the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. He wants us, if we ever get discriminated against, we should always smile in the face of discrimination. Because Ali ibn Talib alayhi salam, he says, be like the flower that gives its fragrance even to the hand that crushes it. Amazing. This is mentioned in Bihar al-Anwar. If you hold a flower and you crush it, the scent of that flower, it's going to be in your hand, but yet you've crushed that flower. Imam Ali ibn Talib is saying, be like the flower, that even if people discriminate against you, they will learn from your patience, they will learn from your humbleness. And that's key for tonight, is keeping the Ahl Bayt alayhim as-salam as our role models. But above all, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was the best and most outstanding exemplar that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ever placed on this planet. Because in his life, every aspect of perfection, every aspect of humility, of humbleness was in the Prophet, even though people discriminated against him. But it comes apparent that the beauty of Islam is found in its teachings being practical in every single generation. You don't find an Islamic teaching that was left 1400 years back when the Prophet was establishing. No. If you read throughout the Quran, there are lessons and teachings. But I would like to comment on what's going on and what the cameramen are providing you with. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. The cameraman is doing a very good job. But I would like to leave you with these beautiful images, and we'll be back shortly, so stay tuned. Viewers, brothers and sisters, once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The images you were just provided with and the footages, they were amazing, amazing. How the lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam are flocking towards the holy shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. But before the break, we were talking about seeking role models and choosing wisely when we choose role models. We ended off at, speaking of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was known for forgiveness, who was known as a man of God. People are so focusing, and many individuals are focusing on materialistic individuals and taking them as role models instead of taking the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad was known for his forgiveness. He was known for his meaningful and kind speech. In Al-Kafi, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is quoted to state that forgiving is the best of all deeds. Pardoning is incumbent upon you, for verily pardoning others only increases the servant's honor. So pardon each other's faults, and God will grant you with honor. In another narration, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam states that forgiveness is an attribute and is a characteristic of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why doesn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we forgive, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive us, and we will have the ability to forgive others, and that's very crucial in our lives today. Because if we do live, this, we hate this person, well, I'm not going to forgive this person, to a certain circumstance or a certain reason, then we will not develop our personality. We should always think of forgiving so we can enhance our spirituality. But meaningful and kind speech, he advises us, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, say a good word to derive benefits and avoid speaking evil words to be safe. In our life today, a very nice story that goes in with this is that there was one person who was sitting on a bridge, and someone walked by. He slapped him and said something bad to him. This person took out a gold coin and gave it to that person. The people that were with him, they were surprised. He says, what are you doing? He just slapped you and you're giving him a gold coin? He says, yes, I just gave him the price of his life. They stood aside and they kept on watching. Another person, this person that got a gold coin is like, wow, I slap a person, insult a person, and I get a coin? A next person comes, he insults him. That person takes out a dagger and stabs him. He says, do you see? A person should always think of what he's about to utter. We should always think of the action that he's going to do. This is why Abi Talib alayhi salam, he always says that I wish I had a longer neck so I can think of the words before I say them. But Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is also taken as a role model for his sublime morals. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Holy Quran in chapter 52 verse 4, he says, and truly you, Muhammad, possess the greatest morals. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. You, Muhammad, possess the greatest morals. Why? Because whenever the Prophet used to get humiliated, or whenever he would sit amongst his companions, he would always be humble amongst them and harsh on the disbelievers. Why? Because his religion came to establish justice and peace. This is why everyone that opposed Prophet Muhammad, they opposed him either because they did not want justice between the blacks and white, between the rich and poor. Yet Prophet Muhammad came to establish a balanced life for us. This is why we should always take Prophet Muhammad as a role model. But through mentioning Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and through talking about his traits, there was one individual that actually looked like the Prophet. Once there was a Christian man who came into Medina wanting to embrace Islam, but only on the hands of Prophet Muhammad, no one else. When they asked for this, he said, a few days I saw a dream of Prophet Muhammad coming to me in a dream with Jesus, and he requested from me to embrace Islam because it's the religion of faith. So I came to Medina seeking the Prophet. The people of Medina told him that the Prophet died decades ago. Where are you? This person, the Christian man, said, this doesn't make any sense. I saw the Prophet just a couple of days ago and he told me to go and embrace Islam on his hands. How can he died decades ago? So they took him to the house of Rasulullah, the house of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The man narrated the story. Imam Hussein alayhi salam whispered to a man sitting next to him. The man gets up, leaves, comes back with a lad with a veil over his face. This Christian's confused. He says, I want to see Rasulullah. I want to see the Prophet. Imam Hussein alayhi salam tells this young lad to unveil his face. As soon as that young boy, the youth, removed the veil from his face, the Christian man fainted. When he woke up, he swore by God that the person standing in front of him is Rasulullah. They looked at him, they said, Habibi, Rasulullah died decades ago. This is not Rasulullah. He says, this is the same individual that I saw in the dream, but this person looks like Prophet Muhammad came back to the youth. He's like a young man. Imam Hussein alayhi salam said, this is my son Ali al-Akbar. The person, Imam Hussein alayhi salam said, this is a lookalike of the Prophet. Right away the Christian man embraced Islam on the hands of Ali al-Akbar and Hussein alayhi salam. Imam Hussein alayhi salam asked this Christian man, he said to him, if you had a son like him, what would you do? He said, I would protect him with my life. And if he gets injured as much as this, as much as a small entity, I will never forgive myself and I would die of grief over him. Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, what if you see this young beautiful individual that resembled and looked just like Prophet Muhammad being butchered and chopped up into pieces in the land of Karbala? The Christian man began to cry and cry as if this person, Al-Akbar, was his son. Began to weep, began to lament over what the Ahlul Bayt had to go through and what they will go through. This is the life of Ali al-Akbar before the day of Ashura. But I would like to take a short break before we continue our live show. So stay tuned for we will be back soon. Respected viewers, brothers and sisters, once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you, and welcome to the last portion of tonight's program. But here with me as once again, Brother Hussein, to join us in the discussion. Welcome back, our brother.
Thank you very much.
Allah khalikum, inshallah. Before the break, we talked about the importance of choosing a role model. And I brought them the example of Prophet Muhammad, and I mentioned a lot. People wondering, it's the 8th night. We should always focus on, who this night is dedicated for, which is Ali Akbar, the youth of Karbala. But yet, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a perfect role model due to him. Any poet, any writer, any book, any researcher, any individual out there will never give the proper right to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam due to the level of perfection that he reached. Only the Quran, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where he says in chapter 33, verse 21, he says, certainly you have in the messenger of God an excellent exemplar for you, those who seek Allah and the latter day and the remembrance of Allah much. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, if you want to seek perfection, if you want to seek the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is your role model? Prophet Muhammad, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and no one else. What I would like to talk about is the importance of choosing a role model. If you don't choose the Prophet, who should you choose?
I think based on life experiences, it will lead you to your role model. So for example, anyone that's at the age of marriage will look towards Al-Qasim ibn al-Hasan as a role model for that, maybe for that period of time. Anyone that's willing to go, for example, fight for the Ahlul Bayt, will look at Abu Fadl or Ali Akbar, whose night we call for tonight. So it depends on your, well, in my opinion, on your life experiences, or it is a factor. Personally, my role model is Qasim ibn al-Hasan. And
because you're unmarried yet, or for other reasons?
No, it's because of his sacrifice and him, and how he took on his father's will.
Yes.
For me, that is something major, and that is the main reason why I see him as my role model. Inshallah, if Allah grants me with a son, he'll be named Qasim. Unless he's born on for example, 15th of Sha'ban, then he'll have to be a Mahdi. But yes, so it depends on life experiences or stories that sort of connect with you the most.
Definitely.
That will sort of not dictate, but help you choose your role model.
And just to add upon your point is the fact that, depending on our experiences, alongside that, if a person has that strong connection with a certain individual, even if that individual isn't really present in his life, because the Ahlul Bayt, they're not physically present,
they're there,
but they are there within our hearts. When in the morning show, we have people commenting that I have left my heart in Karbala, yet my body is scattered, elsewhere. They are actually meaning it, because our hearts are with the Ahlul Bayt. So when a person, a follower of Ahlul Bayt, when he chooses a role model other than the Ahlul Bayt, he is not doing right to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. He's somewhat oppressing Ahlul Bayt. Instead of taking their virtues or taking lessons from their lives, he takes lessons from other people's lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a hadith by Imam al-Sadiq, and again I'm paraphrasing. He says, the one who claims to know us by taking knowledge from someone else about us is a liar.
Allahu Akbar.
So if you're looking to express your love to the Ahlul Bayt, if you're looking to learn about the Ahlul Bayt, you don't go to Flan or certain poets or certain so-called scholars. You go to the Ahlul Bayt. You refer always back to the Ahlul Bayt, because they taught us everything we need to know about Islam, about their lives, lessons from their lives.
Definitely.
So us going to someone else to learn about the Ahlul Bayt is us saying that what the Ahlul Bayt has given us is not enough, which I think personally is a form of kufr, because they are from Allah.
Definitely.
The Bayt are from Allah, and we are saying that Allah hasn't given us something which is enough.
No, but to add upon that, or just to clear up, because some people might get
they might get the wrong way, but yeah.
But some people might get the wrong idea of, what's the point of scholars, which we'll talk about inshallah later
of course,
in a different episode. But scholars are there to not teach us what Ahl Bayt are,
but relay on what Ahl
bring
Bayt
us
was.
examples of
Ahsan.
who Ahl Bayt are.
Ahsan.
But before we go into the musibah, respected brothers and sisters, I would like to thank you for joining us tonight. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shed His blessings and mercy upon you. And don't forget to join our live show in the morning. I will leave you with Brother Hussein to recite the musibah of Ali al-Akbar, the oldest son of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The first person to go into the battlefield from Abu Talib's tribe was Al-Akbar. When Imam al-Hussein sent Ali al-Akbar into the battlefield, his eyes brimmed with tears. He said, "O Allah, you are witness against them that I am sending the one who resembles your beloved Prophet." He advanced against the people reciting, أنا علي بن الحسين بن علي نحن وبيت الله أولى بالنبي والله لا يحكم فينا ابن دعي أطعنكم بالرمح حتى ينثني ضربة غلام هاشمي علوي. He said, I am Ali, son of Hussein, son of Ali. By God, we are the ones closest to the Nabi. By God, the son of an immoral person will not judge me. I will strike you with the spear until it shatters, a strike from a Hashimi Alawi youth. He recited these words several times. Ali al-Akbar fought intensely and then returned to his father. He said to him, "O father, I am thirsty." Imam al-Hussein replied, "My beloved, be patient. Soon your grandfather will be quenching your thirst." Ali al-Akbar returned to the battlefield. At this moment, Mura la'natullahu alayh, he said, "I will stop him and rid his father of him." Ali al-Akbar began. Ali al-Akbar continued to attack the enemy until Mura la'natullah alayh engaged him. The enemies pounced on Ali al-Akbar and cut him. He called out, "My father, my last salutations to you. I see my grandfather. He is telling us to hurry and come." Imam al-Hussein saw this and called out, "My son, may God kill the people who have killed you. Life has no purpose after your departure." Bibi Zainab came out crying and fell on Imam al-Hussein. He took her back to the tent and sat her down. He took some of the youth and took them to collect the body parts of his beloved son. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.